all the white people. Thank you. I love you guys. I don't know where I would be if it wasn't for you guys colonizing us. Thank you, man. You smell that funny, sweat of yours. How many white people do you know? Good white people. Yeah. Kim Kardashian, man. The Kardashians, man. The Kardashians. Oh my God. We got good white people like the Kardashians, man. Damn.
Karibu sana, my people. It's your favorite host, Tracy M, your Diaspora queen. And today I'm in the studio with somebody who is causing a stir. Now, this young man, he is very smart, very intelligent. And the way he thinks is different to a lot of people. But he's also a man of the people because he says what we all are thinking but don't want to say.
Think I give a damn
Meh.
about somebody calling me a nigger while I'm living my best life in Brooklyn?
Yeah.
You think I give
Brooklyn,
a fuck?
okay.
You think I care?
Go off, sir.
I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't care. I'm living my life. And I will walk in the streets of London like it's my own home. The reason as to why I don't really consider Kenya to be the ideal place for me to live is because streets are very dirty. They are very smelly. I don't like it. Yeah. What's up, King Charles, man? How you doing?
He wants a passport, guys. Passport bros.
King Charles, shout out to King Charles, man. Big up yourself.
Please feel free to drop in the comments any sort of discussions or comments that you would like to share. We will be having this discussion again. I think it's important because it is interesting to hear the world that I'm coming from and the mindset that I have, and to hear a fellow Kenyan tell me their mindset and their world and just gain that mutual understanding. Today, I'm joined with Duncan. Duncan, how are you doing?
I'm good, Tracy. How you doing?
I'm surviving.
Yeah. I see that. Yeah.
I'm surviving. I'm enjoying Kenya for all its beauty. So,
Really?
Yeah.
You from the UK, right?
Yes. No, okay. I'm Zimbabwean.
Okay.
But I grew up in the UK.
But you grew up in the UK,
Yes.
like the largest part of your life.
Yes.
Like you grew up in the UK,
Dear.
so you're UK.
Dear, but I try to stay away from saying I'm from the UK because at the end of the day, I'm Zimbabwean. I'm
Really?
African. Yeah.
Yeah, that is like you're trying to say like all this nonsense I see about Africans abroad, especially in the West, they're saying, "Oh, I'm from Africa, but my heart is in Africa, but I'm staying in Europe." Then, if your heart is back here at home, why don't you come back home?
Ooh,
You know?
you are the first person to appreciate that.
Yeah,
Because I think majority of us will say it but won't do it. And it's not easy. It's not easy to do it, but you have to try. And that's why I'm here. I have to try.
The reason why I'm saying that is because I see a lot of Africans and Kenyans, to be specific. They say, "Oh, guys, don't come here." You know, especially the Kenyans in Europe, and in the United States and other Western countries. Hey, guys, don't come here. It's hard. It's all about paying the bills. You know, you're going to really work hard here. When you come over here, it's all about the money. You're not going to enjoy the life. But I'm like, if you guys are not enjoying life, what are you doing over there?
We are working.
Huh?
We are
Then come
slaving
back
away.
home. Come back home. Come back home.
And you know
Let's see
what?
if you survive in this matatu.
In the matatu, I'm
Yeah.
still yet to venture in a matatu.
Yeah.
And I think it's very interesting for you to raise that up because the response from people in Kenya has been, why would you leave the UK to come here?
Exactly.
Like, are you okay? Were you struggling? Were you a criminal? Why are you here?
Yeah.
And I think I keep telling everybody, unless you go out there, you won't understand what it feels like. Because naturally, everybody thinks, lots of money, you're fine, you're comfortable, it's okay. Here you have to struggle. But little do they know that it's not about the money. And I absolutely hate, it's always rich people who tell you money isn't everything. You're thinking, because you have the money, that's why you can say that.
Yeah.
But I just give me a bit more and hopefully I'll be okay. But that is the reality. You have peace of life or money or wealth.
Yeah.
And the two can go hand in hand, but most of the time it's not balanced.
Yeah.
And so I found that whilst I may have had the money that sustained me, it kept me going, I didn't have a sense of peace.
Really?
I'll give you a good example. So in my line of work, I was an office manager. So naturally, I'm always in the office. Monday to Friday, I have to be in the office.
Saturday?
Literally.
Okay.
Yeah. Monday to Friday in the office. That's it. When I leave home, I'll leave home around 5:30, 6 o'clock
Okay.
to go to the gym first.
Okay.
Because, health is wealth. You have to maintain. And as you're at the gym, you get to work maybe 8:30. I need to get there before everybody else gets there because I have to set out the fruit.
Yeah.
I have to just do a walk around to see everything is fine. There's no leaks, there's no nothing or anything I need to report. So that's my day. I finish work at 4:30. When I leave work, I get home maybe 6 o'clock.
Yeah.
So that's my day, right?
Yeah.
I don't cook during the day. I cook on a Sunday because every day I'm at work. So I'll just do a mass cooking and then, every morning in the fridge, take it out, go to work, whatever.
Okay.
It's fine. Whilst I've been here, I cook every day.
You cook every day because of the fresh food?
Fresh food. I have the time to cook at lunch. I can literally cook at lunch. I'm not buying a microwave. I've told myself I'm not buying a microwave because I don't need to warm up food. And, I cook a portion that's enough for me. I'm lucky that I'm by myself. So I cook a small portion that will be enough to fill me up. I don't need to reheat. Every day is a new meal. It's something different. And that's a sense of peace that I have now compared to then.
So you feel like you're more peaceful here in Kenya than in the UK?
Peaceful. A lot more peaceful. Whether that's due to the environment, whether that's due to the way of living, whether that's just due to being around other people like me. It makes a huge difference.
For me, let me be honest with you, okay? The ideal nice place for me or ideal country home for me, I would say the reason as to why I don't really consider Kenya to be the ideal place for me to live is because of the infrastructure.
Okay.
I find that there are so many, the streets are very dirty. They are very smelly. I don't like it. Yeah. There's no proper urban organization, there's no proper, there's no organized urbanization in Kenya. That's the problem. Not all of them. Okay, actually most of the towns in Kenya are very good organized, but you find that in those towns, like here in Nairobi, there's a section of Nairobi that looks like London, and then there's that section of Nairobi looks very dirty, look like Bangladesh, looking like the slums of Mumbai, So I really, really hate that. And sometimes I also feel like Kenyans are not civilized enough, to live in a way that I would love. The matatus, the public transport in Kenya is not really favoring me because in Kenya to acquire a car is also, the cars are really kind of expensive in a way, and they're not really, really expensive. It's the way we are paid. It's how we are paid. So when you go to United States or maybe a country in Europe, you find that acquiring a car, it's not hard. It's not really hard. And me, that's what I want. I want to live in a country whereby I own my own private transport. I can get my own car. Whenever I have to use like a public transport, subway, electric buses all over the place. I don't have to find myself in a place, Mudhurwa. I'm a country bus. A crowded place, smelly place. If your phone is in your pocket, but it is still, you're still not, you're still you have anxiety because this phone somebody will come and just greet you like this, and by the time you know it, the phone is gone. So the reason as to why I don't like Kenya, and even if I say I'm going to work hard.
Yeah.
Working hard, living in a good neighborhood,
Yeah.
you will still encounter these unpleasant scenes of people begging on the road, homeless. You will still encounter the roundabouts in Kenya whereby you see the cars are parked there.
Humps.
I don't like that.
Yeah. Yeah. So let me counter that.
Yeah.
Have you ever kept in touch with what's happening maybe in the UK right now?
Yeah. Like I'm always like on
loop.
current affairs every
Okay.
time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right now, within London,
Yeah.
phone theft is big. You would be walking down, I can't even say CBD. Let's say you're in Kileleshwa, an area that you think it's okay, Kilimani, it's fine.
Yeah.
You could walk down the street and you'll be okay.
Yeah.
That's in London. That's not possible. Anyone, these guys are coming on bikes. They'll be on the road, the pavement. They'll come, shroop, your phone's gone.
But at least thieves over there, they have bikes. Here in Kenya,
Okay.
they have like super bikes, right?
No, it's normal pedal bike. Or maybe sometimes, motorbike.
Yeah, but at least they are dressed well. They are not smelly. Here, when you're giving me trauma, not just about snatching, not just mugging me and taking away my phone, but I will have to, smell that funny, sweat of yours. Then you snatch away my phone. How do you think that makes me feel? The uncomfortable smell first that you hit me with, and then you steal my phone. That is so bad. And then you're stealing my phone and you're running away with it. And that is not, as if that is not enough. You beat me up. You want to kill me because of a phone.
Okay.
And let me ask you something.
Yeah.
Do you know how much is a phone in the UK? Like,
Yeah.
and most of you guys use iPhones, right?
Yeah.
Here in Kenya, we are using Androids. An Android that is, I don't know, that's not even up to even $100. Yeah? But you come here and steal it. That is a fucked up country. We're living in a very fucked up country.
But those problems are everywhere. There's not one country that you can tell me isn't messed up. Every single country has its own good and bad. You spoke about homelessness. In the UK, the streets are filled with homelessness. You might not have smelly people, but you've got people who are drug addicts. Now, drug addicts, of course, naturally, personal hygiene. On top of that, you have to be careful how you tread around them because their hormonal imbalance is different. And so they can react one way or the other. They ask you for money, you say no, you never know. Someone might just, they might react somehow. They might start shouting, they might start cursing, they might start chasing you because that's what drugs do.
Yeah.
But the problems are there. As much as a city may look golden, it may look amazing, it has better transport, great. But that transport comes at a price. Do you know how much you end up paying monthly for public transport? Matatus, at least, it's rationed within whoever's in there. But this one, where monthly prices are going up every year, because, Transport for London says we need to work on the railroads. Those railroads have not changed. Every season, they change for a little bit because of weather. But really and truly, who's getting the money from the increase? People at the top. Now you have the workers striking. The workers striking has an effect on you and me because I need to get to work. But the people aren't driving the trains. So now our bosses are having to, guys, you need to come in. Okay, you can't come in. That's the only way people will learn. And I think it's in every country because you would never think that London would have the problem of striking in 2025. Why are you guys striking? You did that in the factory days.
Yeah.
What do you mean transport people are striking? Huh? But as I say, sometimes you must feel. If you can't hear, you will feel. And that's the only way. The only people, things, actions like that affect are the people at the top because they're so far away, they don't realize the effect it has. So when it starts affecting everybody else's pockets, that's when they start being like, ooh, okay.
Do you ever look at Africa and all the African countries you've traveled to and admit the fact that as much as every other place there's mess, Africa, we are a little bit like more messed up.
I think what I have learned, I used to say that. I would say, oh yeah, we're definitely more messed up. We are just so behind. We'll never let go. But because of the exposure to other cultures,
Yeah.
I've learned that we're not as messed up. We're messed up, full stop. Everybody is messed up. But I wouldn't say that it's to a degree that, oh no, we are way far behind. Because if you look at the Indian community, India is a beautiful country, great country. But because of their mass population, like you said, there are those, naturally those areas where you're just like, ooh, what's happening here? But if you look at the Indian culture, very smart people, tech, predominantly Indians.
Yeah.
They are a community that work hard.
Yeah.
Just like us, Black people, as a minority, we've learnt to work hard. The only problem comes in the fact that we have been told that we are by far worse. It's like a parent, You have two children.
Yeah.
The good kid, the bad kid. With the bad kid, I'm always telling you, hey, you don't listen. You don't listen. Of course, you'd get a B in maths because you're not listening. Yeah. You're not taking the time to apply yourself and da-da-da-da-da. If you keep hearing that, that's all you're going to see. Yeah. You will always feel as though I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough.
How would you describe Africa and the stage we are at in development? And since you say that Africa is clearly Africa, we are not as developed as the rest of the world.
Yeah.
Okay. Would you blame, because I hear so many people blaming, oh, it's the white. The West came over here and steal our resources. And at some point, I feel like Africans, we need to move on because we're not the only people who are colonized.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Am I speaking the truth?
I agree to a certain point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't have to keep on, like fighting for Africans.
True. It's true.
But you have to be honest with your people, right? You call them your people, right? Yeah. I'm African, okay?
Definitely.
I'm African, and I cannot say I'm not African. But I have to clearly say this, that I'm not proud of my continent because 50 years or more, some of us, we've been independent.
Yeah.
And we have not been able to solve problems.
Yeah.
We've not been able to solve the divide and rule system that was left here by the people who colonized us. We are still under that. Okay?
Yeah.
And we don't have to keep on blaming the British for that, for our non-cohesion, existence.
Okay.
Yeah? Why is it that we cannot work on it? Why is it that corruption is so rampant?
Yeah.
We keep on fighting. We keep on killing each other in the Congo. Africa is the richest continent. The people, you came back all the way from your home in the UK, came over here, you want to make Africa great. As if, you said, make Africa great again.
Again, yeah.
As if Africa has ever been great.
It was.
Okay, I can't remember. I can't
Why
recall.
would they steal from us if it wasn't?
I have never read anywhere Africa was ever referred as great at any point, or maybe a lifetime, at any century. Okay? Maybe the only time, okay, I don't know. It's like kuchoma. But here's the thing, though. Do we ever accept the fact that the problems that we are going through as a continent, it's because of our fault? Do we ever take that responsibility?
I think we can hold ourselves accountable, definitely. Yeah. If I look at one of the things you mentioned, you said, it was 50, 60 years ago.
Yeah.
50, 60 years ago is not a long time. That's the age of my mum. So this is why we can't let go of that, because my mum was still a child when they were still stealing and raping and taking and destroying. She was still a child, and she's still alive right now. We have people in that generation who are present to tell the stories. So we can't forget it. Now, there's another denomination, another group who, if you mention anything you know, it's restricted. It is a big army against you because you are speaking incoherently, and, you know, it's not nice, and they are sheltered in that sense.
Yeah.
Why can't we approach our history with the same level of respect? So I'm not saying they're equal, but there's a level of respect in understanding that, yes, this thing happened. It was terrible. It was abhorrent. It was shocking. We have the opportunity to move on, but that's our generation. I think the premise lies in you and me, because, you know, we're in our 30s. We didn't really see it, but, you know, we've seen the effects. We've seen what it causes, and we've also seen the counter benefits. So it's down to you and me, which is why I keep saying make Africa great again, because before those 60 years, it was great on its own. They were surviving. They were fine on their own. They might have had the typical, you know, theft, whatever, because that goes back to biblical times.
Yeah.
So it's something that is going to happen. Man is man. However, we didn't know corruption on the wide scale that we do now because of who introduced that corruption.
Yeah.
And then you and I, we're at an advantage because we see that, okay, this is what they do in Tanzania. Okay, if you look at China, this is what they're doing.
Yeah.
Maybe we can take a little bit of that policy, try and implement it here, etc., etc. But then people are not taking the change that needs to happen. Why? Because those people should be retiring. They all want to be in government. They don't need to be in government. Retire. Go and rest. You're only here for 5 years. Like, just chill.
Yeah.
It's down to you and us to be brave enough. And I think the problem is nobody is brave anymore. We're all scared. Because I don't want to die. If I get into... My mom told me, Tracy, if you get into politics in Africa, you'll die. And I was like, what do you mean? And she was like, no. This is not England where freedom of speech, you can say whatever, you know, and it's fine. There, you'll find yourself in a car accident
Let me
somehow.
ask you something. Your mom seemed to be very realistic.
Yes.
And what he told you is the truth.
Yeah.
And right now, as we talk, we have a kid who has been killed by the National Intelligence Security here in Kenya, simply because he altered, or rather wrote a few words that were very bad about the president and some of the leaders in the government. And he was abducted or arrested, if you can say so. And unfortunately, during the interrogation, because that's how they interrogate here in Kenya.
Yeah.
Their way of interrogation in the UK is different from
Very
here.
different.
That is why your mom was very real.
Of course.
Yeah, in the UK they will put you on a table. I mean, that's what we see on the movies.
Yeah.
In a very dark room, and then there's only one light coming from a small window, and then they start asking you a question. Tell me who did this and this.
Yeah.
And what will you say? I need a lawyer. Call my lawyer. Call my mom. Call my lawyer. But here in Kenya, especially if you are a man, oh my God, you know what they will do? They will castrate you. Yes. So it's very bad. Here in Kenya, in Africa, in general, if you have seen all the activists in Kenya, in even from Boniface Mwangi, it's very bad. So your mom was real. But here's the thing I want you to... Why would you still come back despite how Africa has been painted bad? Why would you still come back and live here?
I believe I have a mission. And maybe, like you say, it's very naive of me because I'm coming from a sheltered community. And so I have a different mindset and different glasses on to everybody else. But my honest understanding is it takes us doing the work before things can change. And somebody has to sacrifice themselves. Somebody has to do it. I can't wait on you to then go and do something. As much as it's painful and it hurts that these young kids are having to go through these experiences and have their lives ended, it allows us to build some sort of resilience. It allows us to build some sort of unison where you and I can say, you know what, enough is enough. This is disgusting. Let's do something as a mass.
Yeah.
And I think that's my objective, to get the masses as opposed to the 1, 2, 3.
Are you willing to do that? Are you willing to die?
So I had this conversation with someone and I keep praying about it.
You think prayers are
Naturally,
enough?
due to my faith, yes. I believe in my faith.
You
and
think
I understand.
prayers can change the mindset of a...
No. I'm talking about are you willing to die?
Yeah.
I've been praying about that in the sense of, Lord, if I had to die for this, like, do you see me dying for this? And in all honesty, at this moment in time, I can say yes. Maybe at the time I won't say yes because, of course, that's torture. Like, it's a different story. Until you're in that situation, you will never know. But at this moment in time, I'm at a stage where I look up to people like Ibrahim Traore and I see the impact he's having. And I want to be a part of that. I would like to encourage that within our generation, within the diaspora that's home, just to understand that, guys, as much as we are there, we're also not wanted there. But instead of aiding that side, come and aid this side. Come and use the skills you've learnt and let's apply them
Let
here.
me ask you something. You keep on talking about how you're not wanted in the West or in the UK. You've lived in the UK yourself.
Yeah.
And you've gone to school over there. The UK has given you life. The good, eloquent, confident you, the English that you speak is so good. It's from the UK. The UK has made you who you are. Why would you say the UK doesn't want you?
They don't.
You've made money in the UK. Your parents live in the UK. You've gone to school in the UK. Uni, you've gone into the UK. Are you getting loan for studies?
Yeah.
It's the UK.
Yeah.
Yeah. The so-called UK that you say doesn't want you
So
gave you this life.
from your end,
If you would have lived here in Africa, I can guarantee you wouldn't come out this way. I mean, I'm not saying like fully, but part of your life, you wouldn't be this confident. Probably right now you could have been having 3 kids or married somewhere. Yeah, exactly what I'm talking about. It's awful. Yeah?
Yeah.
You wouldn't be here thinking like, oh, I need to change my continent. I need to contribute into my continent and change the lives of my people.
True.
UK has made you who you are.
Okay. And for
Why
that,
would you say they don't want you?
understandable. For that, I'm very grateful. I am who I am because
You need to thank the Queen. No, not the Queen, the King. The Queen is dead,
as
right?
I said, I'm very grateful.
Yeah, say to the King.
I'm very grateful
King.
for who I am. And
What's
the
the name
way
of the
God has enabled me to become such a character who is brave enough to try what others won't try or are trying.
Why don't you thank the UK government
So,
and the King and the monarchy for creating a good system, okay, that made you who you are, a confident young woman, ambitious like you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now,
Hey,
that...
King. Shout out to King. What's the name?
This guy wants a passport, guys. So
What's the name of the
King
king?
Charles.
What's up, King Charles, man? How you doing?
He wants a passport, guys. Passport bros.
King Charles, shout out to King Charles, man. Big up yourself.
So whilst you say that system is there to benefit, it's there to benefit. However, it comes at a cost.
It benefited you too.
It comes at a cost.
Yeah.
The tuition fees that they loan you, you're paying them for about 40 plus years.
You get a job.
So it goes back to the system, right?
Yes.
Okay, cool. The high earning jobs that you pay, that you get your money from, etc. Taxes goes back to the system.
Exactly.
Everything you're doing goes back to the system. Now, I hear you. That's everywhere in the world. There's nowhere that you can really go and know that your money is in your pocket.
And can I surprise you? Back here in Africa, and in some countries, in some systems, there's nothing like that. Yeah, you don't even get the chance to get that loan. But you in the UK, you get it.
And again, it
Yeah.
comes at a cost.
Another
Now-
even here in Africa,
Okay.
you don't even get the costs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you don't even realize the cost is there. In Africa, they steal everything away from you.
So I'll give you another concept to think of.
Yeah.
When you think of education in the UK,
Mm-hmm.
you know, there was a point that I'm not too sure how it is now, but there was a point where Zimbabwe actually had better literacy than the UK. The English that I speak, bear in mind, I lived in Zimbabwe until I was 8 years old. When I moved there, everybody was, wow, you speak so eloquently. The way you talk is definitely, you know, Queen's English. That was before I met in it. Now that I've met in it, you know, it waters down, it's filtered, it's,
Yeah.
you know, decorated.
Exactly.
But naturally, as Africa, they gave us these things.
Yeah.
We maximized on them because of our work ethic. Naturally, your parents are pushing you. If I had stayed in Zimbabwe, my story would be different. That's a
Exactly.
given. My story would be very different. But I'll tell you something interesting. I never finished university. But I know if I had stayed in Zimbabwe, I would have got my degree. I would probably be a lawyer. Maybe that. I would have gone down a certain career path that I didn't in the UK.
Yeah.
And again, I was at a luxury because I didn't have to finish
And
uni.
why are you not talking about after being a lawyer in Zimbabwe? What would happen? You wouldn't get a job. Like you
I
used to
wouldn't be working in
jobless.
Zimbabwe.
You would be jobless.
Yeah, I would probably be jobless,
Why?
but at the same time, I would be at an advantage.
Why? Why would you be jobless?
Because there are no jobs going on right now.
Exactly.
But this is what I'm telling you. It's
Yeah.
down
I want
to
you
us
to
to
repeat
change
that part.
this.
I want you to
There are no jobs.
yeah.
Okay, no.
Learn it.
The jobs are there, but people don't want to be paying. Let's be honest. Let's be
We
honest.
have people driving cars here in Africa,
That's fine.
living good
Nothing wrong
life.
with that. Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
It's peace. Remember, I was telling you, wealth and peace. Sometimes peaceful life comes at a cost of wealth.
Yeah.
Wealth will come, but you find yourself very drained,
Exactly.
hectic life.
Yeah.
There's some sort of imbalance that takes place. And so I find that right now, you asked me, sorry, you were saying UK, why, you know, I had the luxuries, and I still say they don't want us
Yeah.
there. When you look at the way the system is set up, you go through the trajectory of uni, job, first job, second job, whatever. Naturally, there is a bias that takes place. And it would be harder, I want to say it would be harder for you if you didn't have a certain set of skills. They're going to be biased about you because of your accent. They'll hear you speaking. I understand everything you're saying. You're speaking English. Your sentences are coherent. But somehow, because it has a twang, somebody will be like, what? Pardon? Have you ever seen Trump when he's got the news reporters there? And if it's any foreigner, he'll be like, I can't understand you. And he'll be like, someone translate. When they're talking English to him. But yet, if it's a Scottish person, they understand what they're saying. Scottish have a heavy accent.
That's British heavy accent.
It's heavy. Like you'd really struggle.
Scottish.
But somehow they understand it. But when it's you now, sorry, what was that? Come again? That's their favorite phrase.
Come again.
Come again?
Yeah.
There's been many times my mom will be on the phone. Hi, I'm calling about, you know, and that's how she talks. You know, I need to,
she's
my
typical
boiler,
African.
it's not working. Sorry, hang on a minute. What was that, my love? There's still that bias.
Yeah.
And there's still that presence of reminding you
Yeah.
that you don't belong here.
But here's the thing though, you need to realize something. Okay. I'm sure how many times, like let's say myself,
Yeah.
before I even encountered somebody like you,
Yeah.
some time back, I used to meet people like you who would speak the English that you're speaking, and I wouldn't get anything.
Yeah.
You know, like you're speaking in a way, instead of saying water, you're saying water. you
I
know?
don't say that
Or-
personally. I pronunciate my words. Thank you very much.
Yeah, but right now, if I met you like some time back ago, like back when I was in high school or maybe
Yeah.
primary school, I wouldn't get anything you're saying.
Yeah.
It's just that I've been around
Climatized.
people of different accents, you know?
Yeah.
Like when you hear South Africa speak, you know? They speak like, what are you saying? You know, like I get all that. I get like that different accents,
Yeah.
But now you need to realize something. these people, they don't get the accent. They just wondering like, what are you saying?
I beg to differ.
Come and fix my ball. Like you're speaking. No. Let's be honest with each other.
We're being very honest.
If the white people,
Mm-hmm.
if you come and speak, the typical Kenyans who has been living here, just
Yeah.
a normal Kenyan who has never encountered a foreigner,
Yeah.
you call them, you meet them every time, right?
Mm-hmm.
And sometime when you speak, they will ask you, repeat it again.
Yes.
Exactly. That's the main thing now. Now I'm talking, this is the thing now is happening back home.
Okay, so.
With your mom. And I'm sure let me tell you something.
Mm-hmm.
When you talk to those white people, they can get you.
Yeah.
But when your mom speak with that typical African accent, they get it. They don't get it.
But my problem is, for a country that has had so much of an influx, you pride yourselves in how diverse London is. At this stage, why are you still failing?
I mean, London is diverse.
It's a choice. It's a choice not to hear it. Because I kid you not, if it was, I don't know, an Indian person, I still understand. I still have to pick it up. I still get the concept of what they're saying. Why is it that you choose? Because you've heard that and you're thinking, I can't be bothered to deal with this. So naturally, you're going to switch off your ears. But there's so many. Example, my surname, Mbiriri. I went through.
You say your surname is?
Mbiriri.
Mbiriri.
Yeah. So I went through.
Okay.
I went through which history? Go on, tell me a history lesson. Where's it from?
Mbiriri.
Yeah. It sounds Kenyan there, doesn't it?
No.
No?
It doesn't sound like
Okay.
it sounds Kisii anyway.
Where's Kisii?
Kisii, like Western Kenya.
Western Kenya. See, people have said this. They said it sounds Kenyan.
Yeah.
I went through 5 years of secondary school. Remember I told you there were only 3 black people in my secondary school?
Yeah, you told me that.
Yeah? I went through 5 years. I was a good student. I would get awards for attendance, effort. Every year, at the end of year, they do awards.
Like, were you guys like ranked best performer, number 1, 2, 3?
No, not to that scale.
Yeah.
But it's just, maybe if they
if you got
specific
an
things.
A or an F.
Yeah, but they weren't doing awards for that. It's just inclusivity and whatnot.
Yeah.
Now, every year when my head of year would call me for my awards, and the award goes to Tracy. Okay, there's only one Tracy in the whole school and the whole year. Yeah. But why are you not saying my name? When it's Georgia Smith, when it's Rebecca Bloomfield, when it's Harry Kane, Tracy.
What's wrong with that?
Why can't you say my surname?
Because it's hard to pronounce the name.
Excuse me?
But
you can say McLaughlin, which is spelled very differently.
I told you about my white dad.
Yes.
My white dad finds it very hard to pronounce this place we are in, Ruiru. So he tends to struggle a lot when you say Ruiru. He struggles.
But he's
a lot.
trying.
Who's trying to say?
But he's trying. Why can't you try? You've known me for 5 years.
You want him to spell in a bad way so that he can annoy you?
My first year.
That would sound very disrespectful.
I can let you off for the first year because that's,
Yeah.
You've known me for 5 years. I haven't changed. You have not changed as my head of it. You've known me for 5 years and you still refuse to say my surname. Why?
You want them to say your surname?
I want you to say my full name. Tracy Mbiriri. Simple. And you know what? I have even become accustomed to when people ask for so long, people ask me, what's your surname? How do you pronounce it? And I'm like, oh, you would say Mbiriri, but it's pronounced Mbiriri. I even climatized it for them.
Oh, okay.
To make it easier.
Okay.
Because obviously they struggle. Like you said, it's very hard.
Yeah.
So I've climatized and I've said Mbiriri.
Okay.
Oh, Mbiriri. Yeah. It just ends up.
But they were always nice to you, right?
No. And that's our stories will always be different.
They ever like being racist to you?
Yes.
They've never said that into your face?
Yeah, I've had it in my face before. I've been called certain names. This was all school though.
They never called you an N1?
Yeah, they did at school. 100%. I was in
Essex.
Essex.
Your face?
100%.
How did they do that?
Tracy. They say what they need to say. And they and they walk off. I was just
Come on.
nonchalant. I was
Like
young.
somebody
I don't
comes
want
into your
trouble.
face and call, hey, Tracy, nigga.
Yeah.
They say,
Yeah,
They
it's
say-
a thing. Growing up in the area I grew up in Essex, and being, like I said, one of 3 black,
yeah.
there's a lot of remarks. A lot of, oh, you're going to get up on that tree and get a mango. Oh, do you ride an elephant every day to school?
Because they think you're African. That's the thing. And let me
But
tell you
then-
something. Instead of being angry, instead of getting angry, why can't you just tell them, hey, I didn't grow up. Like the largest part of my life, I grew up here.
Yeah.
I didn't grow up back in Africa. But back home in Africa,
Yeah.
people do climb up the mango trees and get mangoes.
I didn't
And
get
people
angry.
ride, the only place where people ride elephants is in Thailand.
I never, that's so true. I never got angry because I'm a child of peace.
Yeah.
Like,
You
as you
tell
see
them-
me now, I'm a person of peace.
Yeah.
Let's talk. Let's have conversations.
Did you ever do that?
At that age, I'll just be like, haha, all right, yeah, funny. Like, now I have the patience.
Yeah,
I
like
have the tolerance
Yeah, exactly.
to, let's educate you.
Yeah.
If you don't want to, but at the same time, I do agree that it's also not my job to educate you all the time.
Yeah.
There's resources out there. If you really tell me that your TikTok shows 500 kids who are always on elephants and whatever, and you believe that is true, my friend, good
Yeah.
for you. I'll leave you at that, and that's your piece.
Yeah.
But there is a level of coming to terms with the fact that we can't keep doing all the work. People will educate themselves about not saying certain things about certain demographics.
Yeah.
You don't need anyone to tell you don't say anything about them. You don't. Full stop.
But it's fun to them, you know. You see all white people coming over here, and they take a lot of. Actually, the white people, they love they enjoying the country more than we do.
Yeah.
Why?
Because they see the beauty that we refuse to see. We see rubble, we see dirt, we see chaos.
Exactly.
But
What
they
they're
see
going to make fun of
freedom.
that. They're going to make fun of you.
But those are
like,
the ones who haven't tasted it, who'd make fun of it. These are children who've never been to Africa.
They want to come to Africa. They inspire.
They don't want to, but if they did, I believe they would not want to go back. They want the easy life that's here. They would not want to go back. Unfortunately, they don't have the opportunity of coming here because their holidays are in Spain.
In
Magaluf. Italy, Europe. That's what they know, the Western world. But when they do come here, how many times have you seen the TikTokers? Oh, come here. Have a great time here. Can't believe I'm going back. Oh, no. It's been such a great time. They immerse themselves in the culture. They try and fit in where they can. They really take it on for what it is. And it is a beautiful culture that we as a people neglect. I can say we neglect it. We do not appreciate what we have. And it takes for something going. They always say that. It takes something going for you to really appreciate it and realize, wow, we had something good.
like we have all these.
Yeah, we had something good. Like I told you, the soil here,
Yeah.
beautiful soil, red soil. In the UK, it's a concrete jungle. It's rare to find trees, even the trees
But
that are
there's the
there.
countryside of UK though.
There's the countryside. But when
very
you live
beautiful.
out in the countryside, again, that's not even your land. You're surrounded by lots of greenery, but you
Yeah.
can't do anything on it because it doesn't belong to you. It belongs to somebody else. You might have your own area, which is fine, but these are areas where you need to drive. There's no public transport. There's no walking. You need to drive.
Yeah.
You need to know that your local shop, 30 minutes away or so-and-so, if it is that far or close to you, it's also very expensive.
You know what, Tracy? I feel like it's okay.
Yeah.
I'm not saying we should tolerate racism in an unpleasant way of, talking some things that maybe you feel like you're hurt. But here's the thing you need to understand that I think it's better if we just educate them. If they, sometimes they may just make some statement that they don't know if it's wrong to them.
Yeah.
But I think instead of getting angry, I watched this and I got this statement on TikTok whereby there was a little girl who was saying, why people keep on saying black people don't wash their hair? And the black girl said, instead of getting angry,
Yeah.
just educate them. The reason as to why we don't wash our hair is because we don't want to damage our curls.
Yeah.
It's because our hair is very sensitive. We don't want to like destroy it. So I think it's better if we can just, because white people, not all white people are racist.
Of course.
The larger number of white people are good. They're good to us, right? There's a small number of white people that are racist. The same thing happens to Africa. Not all Africans are like Julius Malema.
Shout out Julius.
Yeah. Why are you shouting him out?
I like Julius.
No, come on, man.
Okay.
Honestly speaking,
we'll have that conversation another day.
So there are good Africans like me who have a liberal mindset.
Okay.
I think every human being deserves that dignity of being treated like a human being,
Definitely.
regardless of our skin color.
Definitely.
And I appreciate all the people that have been able to succeed abroad, in Europe and America, specifically in the West. The West have contributed a lot to our country, and in the continent, largely is the positive side of it.
Yeah.
And then there's the negative side of it. And we as Africans, we are to blame for the problems that we are going through right now. As much as we keep on playing the game of blame game to other people, we need to take it up on our own role and solve our own problems. Okay? As soon as we accept that and acknowledge that the problems comes with us, then the sooner we get to move on to the next stage of now taking a step to solve our own problems.
Okay. Now, I appreciate you saying that. And I honestly want to take the time to say and to correct you. I don't think we're angry as Black people. I just
you don't have to keep on hating white people though.
Hear me out. I personally don't hate white people. It's not about hating them. It's not about we don't want them here and did it.
Look at you. You are a product of white. You literally white in a black skin.
Ooh, I wouldn't go that far, but I would say that they have influenced my environment the way I have grown.
Exactly.
And which
is a good thing, yeah?
Like I said, a lot of appreciation, which is why I am taking what I have gained from the West to bring it here.
Yeah.
Okay? You can, aid the two. There's no battle of who's better than who. We're not fighting about who's better than who. It's just a case of understanding the history and looking towards the future. I do believe that you are right. We have to hold ourselves accountable.
Yes.
We have to be able to acknowledge that the change starts with us. And this is where we messed up. This is where we caused this. And we, like we keep saying, right?
Yeah.
And I think it's important to remember that these conversations we have, they happen behind closed doors and they happen at such a large scale. And as much as you may have a liberal approach and you just want to educate the world, kudos, fair dues to you.
I mean, that's where we get to talk about, minding your own, you just on a checkup.
Yeah.
You check your mental health.
Yeah.
Because we are living in a world whereby there will always be these people with certain mindset towards us. And that shouldn't be your problem as a Black person. They can call us the N-words all they want. Yeah. But that's not my problem.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm living a good life. You think I want to care? You think I give a damn about somebody calling me a nigger while I'm living my best life in Brooklyn? You think I give a
Brooklyn,
fuck?
okay.
You think I care?
Go off, sir.
I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't care. I'm living my life. And I will walk in the streets of London like it's my own home. Because you know what? When the white man came to Africa, they took our gold. Okay? I'm not saying I'm going back to England to take it back.
Okay.
But I am a product of the Western civilization.
Okay.
And I am proud of that. If anything, I'm half English. Yeah? Something like that. There's an English influence in me. There's an English influence in my country, Kenya. Yeah? And you can call me the N-word all you want. I don't care. I'm living the best of my life. You're just a human being like me. There's nothing special about you being
Yeah.
white.
Yeah. Very true.
Yeah, we are all humans. And my message to all the black people out there, please, you don't have to care. You don't have to care. You can be nice to people who are nice. You can always protect yourself from the white supremacists. Yeah. But there are good white people out there. We got Justin Bieber. We got Hillary.
The world that I'm coming from and the mindset that I have, and to hear a fellow Kenyan tell me their mindset and their world and just gain that mutual understanding. So, on behalf of Duncan, I want to thank you for tuning in for another episode of On the Record.
Thank you very much for watching. And all the white people. Thank you. I love you guys. I don't know where I would be if it wasn't for you guys colonizing us. Thank you, man.
Kwaheri.
Peace.
Hey, thank you for that. Thank you so much.